All right, now, rather than talk about politics and stuff like that, but invariably politics does come up, I'd like to talk about bullying because I've been talking a lot about it with people lately about bullying, and it's not something really I think all that much about because I'm not really bullied, but I have been when I went to school. So the conclusion I've arrived at, I mean, I'm not talking about internet bullying because I haven't really got anything to say about that, except it's another form of bullying. But I'd like to talk about bullying, what it is, and maybe how to deal with it. I actually think that we do live in a culture that is a culture of bullies. That everybody in charge bullies you and pigs you around and so forth. From the moment you go to school. I mean, for example, on my first day at secondary school, I noticed that the bullies were going around relieving everybody of their dinner money. I had hidden my dinner money and made out that I didn't have any and got a slight slap for being cheeky, but I kept my dinner money. But we didn't regard this as bullying. So ingrained is bullying that we thought that these people, these kids that were doing it, who were much older, were what we called, and this is the 60s, what we called hard nuts. And so therefore, because they were hard nuts, they weren't bullies, they were just hard. And if you're hard, that's the sort of thing that you did. And it was like accepted. So, but in fact, that was bullying. The thing about bullies, though, and particularly the hard nuts and the bullies at school, the thing that I found distasteful was that people look up to them. They worship them. They were like heroes or something The worst sort of bullies were like, even their victims praised them. And if you stood up to a bully, all your mates would be saying, oh, don't rock the boat, oh, fucking hell, he's going to take it out on us now, and so on and so forth. So bullying is deep, it permeates It's not something that's just one or two people, it's something that's probably like a population of 60 million people, or whatever it is the population is over here. That's probably about 3 or 4 million bullies. And I would say about bullying, no matter what the context, whether it's at work or at school or in your family or relationships, anything, that accepting it is almost as bad as doing it, because without victims, without willing victims, the bullies wouldn't exist. They wouldn't have anybody to bully. And that's the big contradiction, isn't it? Everybody hates bullies, but everybody loves them. People like the Crays, for example, who are nothing more than school bullies gone completely mad and psychotic. They become sort of heroes. Yet everything they'd done was like bullying. They just picked on weaker people, protection money, extortion, or just sort of stabbing people just for the sake of it, for having a laugh, slashing them with razors, Great guys bullies, and everybody worshipped them, and they become little tin gods. Even after they'd been arrested, everybody, oh, I used to know Ronnie, a really nice bloke. Well, they're bastards, they were bullies, they were scum. And we could do without people like that. Life is hard enough anyway, without having to put up with bullies. And there was also a bit of a contradiction within the anarchist movement and political movement as a whole, I've noticed. That some people are very courageous when it comes to standing up to those bullies called the police. That's because it's probably sort of ritualized, if you like. But when it comes to standing up to real bullies, they don't know what to do, and they're just the same as everybody else. Oh, you don't want to provoke him too much. Oh, he's a really nice guy, really, and so on. Oh, we didn't mean to hit his girlfriend. He's not really like that, and so forth. What the hell with that? I say this: bullies, you've got to stand up to them. And you've got to stand up to them together. But if you can't stand up to them together, stand up to them individually. 9 times out of 10, they'll back down. Because, they might be hard, but they're also cowards as well. I mean, 1 time out of 10 you might get a slap or something, but at least you've got some self-respect. And what is bullying anyway? It's all about control. It's all about dominating other people through fear and so forth. And we're anarchists, we're against that sort of thing. We're against control. And so therefore everybody else should be against it. Why should we put up with this bullshit? It seems to be, it's just gone on for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's nothing but naked power. And we're against power. And remember that power corrupts. The more they're allowed to get away with it, the more they'll do it. And if they're doing it to you, if you allow them to get away with it, they'll do it more to you. Just by kowtowing to them isn't going to make life easier for you. In the end, it's going to make life more difficult for you. And the most you'll get is a bit of sympathy. So anyway, yeah, and there's a lot of turning a blind eye. And there's another thing as well. What can you do? It's no good running to the authorities and so on. Oh, miss, he's bullying me. Because they know. In the army, at school, at work, anywhere. In the streets. They know, all the parents know. They all know that there's bullying going on. The authorities know that there's bullying going on. It's part of the system. They accept it. It's part of the thing. If you stand up, you're rocking the boat. But that's what you've got to do. You've got to stand up. But if you're standing up to a bully, or your friend is standing up to a bully, support your friend. Support all your friends that stand up to bullies. If you all stand together, there won't be any bullies, because they won't have anybody to bully. They'll have to go away and cry by themselves because they've got nobody to bully. But the moment you allow yourself to be walked over, the moment you allow yourself to be stepped over and bullied, abused and so forth, then you're a victim. And we should not be victims. We shouldn't be bullies either, but we shouldn't be victims. There's nothing good about being a victim. So let's stand together. And this is what it's all about, isn't it? A revolution. We want to overthrow everything in society, religion and everything like that, but also bullying, which is part and parcel of this society. In fact, it's probably, the more I think about it, it's more one of the backbones of society. The police are organised bullies. The courts, that's organised bullying. That's all it is. People with no power being subjected to people with power. It's bullying. And it goes on everywhere. So, what am I trying to say here? Is that once we're out on the streets, once we're really together, once we're doing things to change our lives as a mass, the bullies will disappear. Oh yeah, we'll have the police to contend with, the state and so forth, but they will disappear. And have a look at the state. Have a look at the politicians. When you look at the debates in the House of Commons, it's just like one load of bullies baying at the other load of bullies. And that's what they are, bullies. All of them. And the people that fawn before them. Yeah, that's what I think. People that fawn before bullies are just as bad as the bullies, because without the bully supporters, again, and without their victims, there would be no bullies. So let's stand up to bullies. I mean, it's very hard to stand up to bullies. But as I say, if everybody's together, bullies usually don't come singular as well. There's always a gang with them and so on. But if you're attacked or menaced by a gang on the streets, you just stand up to the big guy and the rest of them don't want to know. Yeah, you might get a kicking, but you're going to get a kicking anyway. And let's have some self-respect. And a lot of people do stand up spontaneously to bullies and so on, and they won't accept it. And if you see your friends being bullied or anybody being bullied, stand in and get in. And if you're being bullied, don't stand for it. Just don't fucking stand for it. Okay, you might be saying to yourself, well, look at him. Is he a bully? Am I a bully? Have I ever been a bully? Well, I would say there is a bit of a bully in us all, if we get the opportunity. And exercising power through bullying is probably like some sort of a rush in someone. I want to describe myself as a bully because I don't pick on anybody that is weaker than myself, because it's not fun. So maybe I am a sort of super bully in a way that I like to pick on bullies. Not only physical bullies, but intellectual bullies. Arrogant people that need to be taken down a step or two. Snobs, people like that. I believe that they're fair game. I believe that all bullies are fair game. You know, let's turn the tables on them and then show them what it's like. See if they like it. Maybe they'll stop. You know, maybe they'll become human. So yeah, some bullies I know, you know, they're not sad creatures. A lot of bullies. A lot of them, you know, got quite. They're quite witty. They're quite intelligent. You know, they're cut above the others, but they're still bullies. And I think people like Boris Johnson's a bully, for example, because bullies, the worst bullies, are the ones that get away with it. So yeah, that's all I want to say about bullying. Stand up to them, stop them, support people that stand up to them. Don't be afraid of them, because they live on your fear. They're like vampires, they live on your fear. So stand up to bullies, don't take it, particularly in the workplace, particularly at school, particularly in your family, and do not endure any of it in any relationship you have. You're having a relationship with someone and they start bullying you, terminate the relationship. If you have a friend and they start bullying you, terminate the friendship, because it's not worth it. Bullies are not worth anything except to stand up to. That's all they're worth. You can measure yourself by standing up to them. So yeah, bullies, fuck you.